Welcome to the race of the century. Let's start things off officially by finding someone who resides over the city of Saskatoon. The mayor?
Presides, it should say.
Presides. Your first task, track this person down with the correct answer. This person will provide you with your first clue. You have 15 minutes to complete this task. Inside City Hall, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've been wanting to do this for quite some time. Even Folkfest isn't immune to reality shows, so there's a lot of amazing race fans, and we thought this was an ideal fit, especially with Saskatoon Centennial. We thought, why not the race of the century? So this seemed like the year to kick it off, and it was definitely the year to kick it off. So what we wanted to do was to have a race around the world in 3 days without having to leave Saskatoon. And through riddles and clues and through a lot of fun on the buses that these teams would embark on challenges in all the pavilions. So it was designed so that the patrons would get excited about it because they could be involved indirectly, directly through different challenges, through some centennial tokens, that type of thing. So we just thought it would be a fun way to get the participants involved with the patrons as well.
Oh my goodness, well a year ago does feel like a really long time ago now. It was actually more Michelle's idea.
Yeah, I had a friend told me about it actually, and then it sounded really neat and I forgot, and then we were out one evening and actually another friend totally coincidentally brought it up and was mentioning this race, and I thought, oh, I totally forgot, so looked it up on the computer, and actually that night was the deadline. So, and I'd been thinking, well, who would be a good partner for this? And of course, Tara and I have traveled together a bit and worked together and been friends for a long time, so that she'd be the perfect race partner. So I phoned her up, talked her into it. We did our application over the phone together.
I was at home on my computer. I was asking Michelle the questions, and she was answering, and I was writing stuff.
Yeah.
It was actually quite funny. It was kind of the story of our life, how we get things done at the last minute, as per usual.
Yeah.
Well, initially I heard a spot on the radio advertising it, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to do with, I don't know, one of my friends or maybe even Laura. So I suggested it, and she got really excited and fired up about it. So we decided to send in an application.
We sent it to the radio station. We put it on pink scented paper with little cowboy boot stickers on it, and they liked it.
Your dad told us about it, right?
Yeah.
And he had found out about it, and he said she should apply.
Yeah, and he wanted me to apply with like everybody I knew to make sure that I got in, but
She decided she wanted to apply with me, so we decided to do a mother-daughter team.
I think I just heard it on the radio actually, and then did a little bit of research on the internet just trying to see what it was all about, and had come home and we had kind of talked about the amazing race and stuff, how neat it would be to go out and do something like that, and then saw this. I was like, hey, we should try and do it, and he seemed game for it, and away we went.
You know what, my wife now, fiance at the time, she's really on the ball in with community events, and this posting came up for, or this ad came up for contestants for this race. And we're big avid fans of The Amazing Race, and we always talked about how we could do this job, or win this this event.
And I always wanted to be on the real show, but you have to be American. So I brought it home and I asked Chad what he thought about it. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So I did the application, and I have some writing skills. So I wrote our application. It was really funny and interesting, and I think they liked it a lot. That's what they said anyways. So we were picked.
Well, it was all this kid right here.
It was me.
Yeah.
My boss phoned me one night. I'm a huge fan of the other unnamed show, and he phoned me when he heard it on the radio, so I immediately phoned him, asked if he wanted to get on it, and at my birthday party we signed all the documents, and next day we sent it off.
So we have Team CKOM, so let's hear it for Team CKOM. Come on up here, CKOM. Come on up on stage. We have Team Shaw. Where's Team Shaw? Come on up here, Team Shaw. And we have Team Magic 98.3! On your marks, get set, go! And they're off! They are consuming the power, the passion. The Magic team seems to be ahead. The Shaw team seems to know what they're doing. The CKLM team looks trepidatious.
It was kind of different because, I mean, the thing is, I think a lot of us are used to job interviews, but I mean, for this, it was totally based on our personalities, our friendship together, the experiences we'd had, and it was something kind of new, and so we just kind of tried to go in and be ourselves and be upbeat and enthusiastic, and which we are a lot of the time.
It was interesting, I think, because waiting in the waiting area while they were getting ready for the interviews, everybody was speculating on what they were going to ask or what they were going to make us do, and it was very basic, but there was some interesting ideas of what people thought they might ask about.
We came dressed as the same thing. We both had matching knee-high socks and matching jackets, like ball uniform kind of things. We thought that might be a little bit better angle that we'd get in.
We thought we were really energetic, and we started playing with the other team's minds right in at the interview already. Just running out as we were coming out of the interview and going into the elevator, I kind of said really loudly, as I can't believe they asked us to know all the winners of the amazing race. And then the elevator closed and it was like perfect.
There was another team that kind of tried to throw some stuff at us, thinking that we needed to know who had won all the amazing races and trying to make us feel like we weren't going to be able to answer their questions and stuff, but he was just playing the game.
Even before it started?
Even before it started.
I was pretty nervous the first event, and I don't know, we didn't really prepare at all.
No, we were going to prepare a lot more than we actually ended up doing.
We definitely weren't prepared for as much walking and running as we did.
Oh my God, what have I got myself into? I couldn't believe the physical aspect of it, how competitive people were, and just that it was so much fun. Like, it was just a blast, and glad that we had made it through the first day and excited about day 2.
Well, I didn't expect to be running the whole time.
We tried to figure out what kind of stuff we'd have to do, but
I looked up all the flags of all the countries. We didn't need that piece of information.
We studied the pavilions a little bit, but not really any physical training. But
yeah, I wish.
I think this year the people should do that.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of running and we weren't really expecting much running.
Yeah. I did a lot of the just studying all the pavilions. As soon as we found out we were on it, I went on the website. I found out exactly where all the pavilions were. I ripped out the maps from the phone book. I plotted them on. I found out exactly how far it was to go from each one. Plotted the bus routes. Tried to find out as much as I could.
No, I think we should have done some distance running beforehand to prepare ourselves. But not a lot. I mean, I think we kind of thought a bit about what Folkfest was about, and you kind of tried to think, like, what might they present or what might the challenges be, but I don't think we really had much idea, and we just thought we'll do our best and have fun and go with it.
After the first day, I thought, what did we get ourselves into? I didn't know how we'd do the rest of the days because it was so physically tiring, had no idea. I don't think Folkfest had any idea either how strenuous it would be to actually do the race. So, and I thought we were so bad that we would just lose out anyways because we were the underdogs.
I guess when it comes to the running side of things, we knew that we were going to end up running at some point in time, whether it was required or not, taking advantages of our strengths, which is, I mean, that's how you win a race. So that was, we sort of weren't sure whether or not we'd expect to have a whole lot of athletic ability. The toughest or most interesting part, though, I guess just the competitive nature and how the different backgrounds that people came from, but at the same time, it was just sort of fun knowing that you were up against other competitors who were all after the same thing. And it's just different than anything you can do on the court or on a field. It's different than any sport that you might play. You got to use your mind as well as your athletic ability in a different sense than you would, you know, formulating a game plan or something like that. But yet in the same respect, you got to have a plan and figure things out and get your way through.
I think the other team saw us as friends and people they could really collaborate with and strategize with, and that worked out to our advantage because everybody, you know, saw Chad and Sarah, you know, the friendly, nice couple that everybody got along with, and I don't think they ever viewed us as Chad and Sarah the competitors.
Ones that I found personally to be the biggest threats was the Cowgirls. Like after them being in last on the first day and then shoving themselves up right up to second, they were a force to be reckoned with. So
yeah. We work with them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Like we developed a good friendship with them and such. But
yeah, no, I don't know. We didn't really look at the other teams.
No.
We were just mostly worried about ourselves, making sure that we were focusing on what we had to do.
We didn't really care what any of the other teams thought of us. It's like, this is a competition. We'll be friends after, maybe. Right now, no. I'll lie, I'll cheat, I'll do whatever. And I did.
Michelle and I were, like, we met in university, we were on student council together, we work together now, we've been in groups together and that kind of thing. And so we knew we worked well together, but it was almost like a confirmation for us. Like, we both got into it, we were competitive, but yet we had fun. Like, it was just a really good mix.
I think there was some competitiveness there, too, with the people that we knew beforehand going in, that you just kind of wanted to beat out the people that you knew, didn't want to be stuck at last place.
I'd be furious if Corey beat me.
Yeah.
And he didn't, so I was happy. Corey's apparently a professional dancer, and he couldn't even do that stupid stick dance. So me and Chad and Sarah and Ange passed them, and they couldn't do it, so they had to eat the sausage, and they were all coming for the bus, and we already left them, so they were catching up. I mean, they were the first two teams there, and we passed them. They were pretty choked.
Yeah, that was a horrible, horrible challenge. I don't even want to remember that one.
They've been incredibly fast, so please support these teams tomorrow night, the last leg, and the team that wins will win $1,000 for the charity that the media organization they're running for. I'm sure I've made that as clear as mud. Now, you're not going to believe this, but tonight's first place team, the team that came in first, can you believe it? They were from CTV. So if Jeremy and Sinead can come up here, let's give them a big round of applause. And let's also hear it for, we also have the other rest of the teams that are still in the competition. They're just towards the back there. So seven teams tomorrow night. Keep popping this microphone. 7 teams tomorrow night will be racing for that $1,000. And here, first of all, Jeremy and Sinead, what was the toughest competition so far? Because every pavilion they go to, they go through a cultural challenge. just like on that particular TV show, The Amazing Race. And what was the toughest one for you?
The Irish, going through the pot of gold looking for all the chocolates.
Did you have to eat the chocolates? You didn't have to eat the chocolates. Maybe that was the downside. And before we go, you are going to love this story. I hope I don't embarrass you guys, but this is a great folk fest story. These two people met 13 years ago when they were youth ambassadors at different pavilions. Now they are a married couple. I want to cry! That is a great folk fest story.
Thank you.
No, we were here. Because we got enough letters to figure it out. Okay, I want to see. I need to see. What do you mean? I need to see the letters. Okay. The letters are all from right there. I did. You're okay. There. Look. Next clue. No. Sorry. Your next challenge. You have to give the challenge. The blue one. I'm sorry. That's me.
Well, the last day was intense. It was so crazy. Honestly, running 20 plus kilometers around Saskatoon is something I thought I'd never do or could never do, but we really pulled through, and we both really amazed each other and the other teams.
On the last day, we were leading the pack. And when did that happen?
Because I think we kind of took a bit of a risk, because the majority of the groups all went one way, and we thought, okay, if we go this way, there was a chance that we could totally lose out and end up last, but it depended on the timing of the buses. So we caught a bus, and remember, ended up going up Broadway and then cutting across a different way, which ended up, the teams didn't know we were going to be there, and then we ended up there ahead of them, and they got there and were like, where the heck did you guys come from, you know?
Yeah,
so
because I think everyone knew. It's not like we were the dead last team, but we were never like the team global team that was in first all the time. Yeah. And so we were just kind of the middle of the pack team, and it was then, that was the Jewish pavilion, and and everyone got there because they thought they had totally lost us, and we show up there, and then we ended up falling a little bit behind, I think, because we couldn't run very fast by then.
Yeah.
One wrong turn, got off, made one wrong guess as to what pavilion we were supposed to stop at next, got on the wrong bus, and after that everything just sort of unraveled for us, unfortunately.
Well, when we were with all the other teams, yeah, it was mad dash, I would say. Like, everybody was just...
Everyone was together in one spot, like 6 teams, all together in one spot.
7 teams.
7 teams last day. And it was just craziness.
Stressful. It was incredibly stressful. It was like everybody's pushing and trying to get, like, at the Romanian pavilion, like, everybody runs into the place, and I don't know, I'm just not that fast, and I got like thrown to the back, so that got our team last to do the challenge at the Romanian pavilion. Same thing at the Brazilian pavilion. We just got shoved to the back of the line, and then the little incident coming from the Romanian, going back to the Egyptian pavilion when all the teams jumped off the bus, and we kind of looked at each other, and it's like, we're not running it.
I thought if it came down to a foot race, we were pretty much out of commission, because the one guy, Paul particularly, I did play football with him, and he is a phenomenal athlete and runs a lot, and his partner, she was on the U of S track team. So I mean, looking at that, I didn't want it to come down to a foot race. So in the end, we were neck and neck, and we actually just chose, instead of running side by side, we elected to go a different route in hope that they just would expect us not to run as hard, and it worked out, because I think if it would have been neck and neck, they would have probably cleaned us.
So yeah, once we started running ahead and had to merge onto the same street as Global potentially would have been on, we realized they weren't there, and we knew they weren't ahead of us, and we just thought, what just happened? So we ran all the way to Prairie Line. We were just pumped, and when we got there, we realized, we're in the lead here. We're going to win this thing.
They were wonderful, very nice-natured team, and we had all kinds of teams. We had best friends, we had brother, sister, co-workers, teachers, different age groups. So we really felt that we had a good variety of teams. So in the end, yes, they were engaged to be married, and they are married now, and they were just good sports all the way through. And so they presented Magic 98.3 with their check for $1,000 for their charity of choice after the festival.
For me, I just like being involved with Folkfest. Like I said, I mean, it's marked on my calendar for this year. I know what days I'm going to be back there again and be involved with the race any way I can, and, you know, cheer on the competitors because I knew how much fun it was.
It's definitely something that I'll never forget. I'm glad that I got to do it with Andy, with us living together now. I think it's definitely strengthened our relationship. We've always had a pretty good relationship, but it's definitely strengthened. And he gave me a little card at the end saying how proud he was of me.
Well, I mean, we got to bud the lines, and everybody knew we were from the race who would come up to you and talk to you.
We had a fan club.
Yeah, we had quite a few people who were cheering for us. And
some people would be like, hey, we're cheering for you guys, we're cheering for you guys.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, I remember the two teenage girls on the bus once. They kind of were glancing back and giggling, and then it's like, we're cheering for you guys.
Yeah.
It was kind of cute.
I don't know, two girls were like looking at their passports and they're like, that's that guy. So I went down and talked to them. Of course I had girls, so that was good. And then you were making eyes at me the whole time. Like, get your head in this.
I think it was the people. The group of people were just so much fun to be with, and you know, getting together in the evenings after the race was done. The people were the best part.
That's my part too.
I think the what were those drinks at the Jamaica Pavilion after?
Jamaican me crazy.
Jamaican me crazy after a long day when everyone sat down together and just went, oh my goodness, we are exhausted, and we had a few Jamaican me crazies and got to enjoy the pavilions a bit. But
definitely the evenings afterwards, and that was the really neat thing. We'd be competitive against these other teams for the whole race, and then afterwards we'd all have drinks together, and it was just really kind of a fun group.
It's never going to be the same again. Like, that was the funnest time I've ever had at Folkfest. Especially like after you were done your leg that day, like sticking around at the pavilions and drinking with all the other teams. And just, we got such special treatment from everybody. It was just so great.
As not saying winning wasn't one of my best memories, because it really was, but you know what, just sitting down after each night and hanging out with the teams, and getting to know everyone and their backgrounds. It was actually a lot of fun, and as competitive as everyone is, you know, you sat down, you had a drink and got to know them. Everyone's a person, everyone is there for the similar reasons, so that was probably the best memory.
For any team out there, go into it with an open mind and don't think you know everything until you're actually through the entire race. That was our biggest downfall. We figured we knew exactly what we were doing and didn't think things through enough, and it led to our demise.
Have fun, you know, have a lot of fun. Be prepared, you know, for it to be a competition, but have a lot of fun. Interact with the people in the pavilions, you know, get them to help you.
Study all the pavilions, like read up as much as you can. I remember hearing that some of the clues involved, like last year, involved knowing the ambassadors or someone that was running the pavilion. As soon as you get your passport or find someone that has it, read it through and go to endurance training. Like, go strap like a backpack on or whatever and run and get your endurance up. That's Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me.
And be focused, like make sure you're going to the right pavilion, because if you go to the wrong one, that could be it, I think, for the day.
I would just say go hard and have fun. Like, you know, you go for it and do your best, but just like take it all in. It is a really unique experience, and it's so neat when people, kids wanted our autographs in the Folkfest book, which is so cool. Or we'd get on the bus and you have that little downtime and talk to the people and chat and just really enjoy it. But just go out there to get into it and have fun and try your best to win.
It's something that you probably won't ever get a chance to do again. So just eat up every moment of it and just enjoy it and have fun with it.
Go hard, have fun.
Look at the Folkfest pavilion maps and everything and know your bus routes. Sometimes it's faster to walk than actually take the bus, or vice versa.
Read your question very carefully, because if you don't, you can be kicked out, not kicked out, but you can be out of the race in a heartbeat. So read it over and over. If some team takes off, don't freak out and follow them. Make sure that you know where you're going, sort of thing.
Start working out. Yeah, that's my best advice. I really say that I am so glad I went through it, because it's probably one of the hardest things I've had to do in my life.
In the end, looking back, we just felt that it was something that everybody became a part of. We were surprised that the teams were asked for autographs everywhere they went. They were recognized. People on the buses were cheering definitely for their favorites. So that was kind of the thing we wanted to do, is to get Saskatoon behind a team, because they were supporting charities. The media was involved, and this is one of the first times, I think, that all the media outlets worked together for one big promotion like this, and we thought it was great to have them all working around the table with us to sponsor a team for charity. You will find in your programs that come out that you'll have all the teams, a little bio, who they're working with, which media, and we hope you get behind a team and really cheer them on, because in the end it's the majority of the charities are all children's charities, all here in Saskatoon, so it's a very worthwhile event. We just want everybody to have fun and get involved, and definitely cheer them on. You'll see them on the buses, you'll see them wearing the Brainsport t-shirts, so just give them a pat on the back, wish them well, and have fun.